It's about time we welcome you guys back to a 78 Camaro video. We finally have a fitting. We finally have a fuel pump, or a fuel filter. The problem we have now is this is heading off to paint real soon. So I don't know how much we're going to get done before it has to go. But I would like to identify any other issues in the fuel system that we're going to have to address. But yes, we're finally back on the 78 Camaro project. This is the same one we used on the 55 Chevy project. We tried to get this in black and we still don't have it, so we got a red one, and you know, it goes with the theme of the car. Finally get that installed. This is for the 55 Chevy, in fact. Needed a headlight bucket, so yeah, let's get this guy on here real quick and keep moving. Hey, one thing to remember when you're tightening that fitting down, always have a backup wrench. So I used a socket to tighten it, but this to keep from ripping this off of the flange. Okay, so we've got that. Now, car's getting ready to go to paint, and I think I want to keep this out of it while it's at paint, especially since I don't have stuff here to build a wire harness at this point in time, so it would have to come down anyway. But we're still putting it in because I need to know where everything's gonna go so I can start figuring out tubes, and do we have enough of the 3/8 for the return line. I mean, we just don't know. Okay, we've got the tank sitting up here, and now, okay, that comes off. I don't know if you can hear. Hold that, please, sir. I don't know if you guys can see it, but it's kind of a snuggish fit, but it'll fit. But that feed comes out right here. We got hanger straps here. I don't even know what these guys were. Probably something with the exhaust from factory. But I'm going to try to bring everything around to the passenger side, which is what I normally do. So I don't want them anywhere near where the rear end can hit. Stay out of the suspension. Try to stay out of the area the exhaust is going to have to go. So I'm probably bringing them forward. Yeah, maybe up there, maybe even up against this deck. I'll have to look and see, but I don't think this actually goes into the car, and that would be the best. So yeah, that might be where we're at. Well, it turns out I'm a little out of line, I'm being told, for a couple reasons. For starters, yeah, see, that'll work. That works pretty nice. We're happy with that. Started digging out our fittings. We were just going through line. We got all kinds of -6 line. We're apparently out of -8, and I thought we had some left over from the 55. So, guess that's got to get ordered. Okay, so here's our concept. Pretend there's a hose there. It's snug, but it isn't actually hitting the floor. And that's all that matters. And now I'll start figuring out how we're mapping the return. And unfortunately, with it being winter, I just don't have the hand strength I used to. So we busted out the fancy tool. This is what it takes to straighten. They ship it coiled in a little box. So back and forth and back and forth and out the door and back and forth. And then you get it nice and straight. Okay, that is no longer coiled. Then I'm going to show you what we're doing. This one is full of sand. Absolutely just full of sandblasting sand because it's 1/2 inch and we don't have a way to bend it. So this was the only way to keep it from collapsing. So when it comes out, we'll clean it out and all that. But somewhere in this area on the dog leg is where the tube nuts are going to be to go from the soft lines to the hard lines. I've got this one bent, following a factory-ish routing, and then just hanging out up here for now, just like we did with the 55. So now I want to follow a similar route with the return line. Okay, so then that kind of puts us in the ballpark. I don't know how well you guys can see it, but the return line is black. It's kind of following It's coming around, coming up, and both of them terminate down here because this is where I'm hoping we can put our fuel pressure regulators, right in here. Boy, talking about who's being obstinate. Anyway, so since there's a clamp point here, I like the idea of having a tube nut here. We do got to stagger them a little bit, so we'll have one there, and if I have to, I will make one new hole here to hold that. That's that short from there to here for the -8, and this hose coming for the return is from here, so we've got more than enough just on that scrap I had found. Most of this will be covered in thermal, just because exhaust heat builds up back here. We don't want any issues, so we're gonna have to figure out actual clamps. I wish we could use factory clamps, but they're not going to suit it. And then yeah, I think this will work. So let's get these back down. We got to get all the sand out of this one. You know, we just happened to have a bucket of sandblast sand, so that's what we used. And it keeps you from crushing because it's such a thin diameter wall. It's real easy to crush. Oh, and at some point we should probably drop the tank since it doesn't have straps and just a jack. Empty in the sand, and it's the Ricola. Alright, so this shows the concept here, and I'll rebend that when we do the line. Don't have this tube nut. We have 2 of them, but they're the wrong gender. So we've got to decide how we want to do our clamping. And of course, everything will be heat shielded away from the exhaust, because you know exhaust will be running along here. So heat shielding there. And then from probably this clamp forward, we will also heat shield, because you know headers, exhaust heat over here as well. No reason to percolate your fuel. So that's probably all we're going to be able to do with that for now. We'll get this dropped in a couple of minutes and go from there. Okay, we were just going over some notes on the rocket ship, some stuff I've got to do. And we spent a little bit of time in with the 55 because she's back. Look for a ShopDog short on that if it hasn't already gone up. But yeah, so I got a couple things I got to get for next week, and then we've got next week to finish building the fuel lines and everything up before it goes to paint. So we will block off some of these. I'll get some -8 plugs, but yeah, it's gonna be crazy. And I do believe he was going with flames or stripes. What about flames and stripes? No, that would be weird. That's getting greedy. So, all right. At this point, thanks for watching. This has been another ShopRex approved video. Thanks for watching.